Well, first of all, good morning and welcome, and I just want to thank all the members of the media for being here today. The Project Gaslight extortion series has affected our South Asian community and the broader community for months now. The frightening nature of this series has meant we needed to build relationships, strong relationships with the community and work together, and the community is showing us a willingness to do so. So I want to start today by thanking everyone who was courageous enough to come forward with information of any kind. They have helped us to get to the point of this investigation of why we are here today. I want to also thank the media, especially our local South Asian outlets, for their excellent reporting and ongoing engagement on this file. Your reach and connection to the community has helped us get the word out and keep talking, which obviously generates information. While we've made significant strides of progress to date, we know there's much more work to do. Just this morning, an arson occurred at the Kavanaugh neighborhood that we believe to be connected. I want to take a minute to make it abundantly clear to those committing these crimes. We will not stand for you intimidating Edmontonians, period, and stop. There will be serious consequences, and it's only a matter of time before we find you. The Edmonton Police Service and all of our officers will continue to be relentless. In addition to the events this morning, we know there are others who have been targeted that haven't yet come forward. My appeal to you is please do so. These individuals will be held accountable. Lastly, I want to recognize the Project Gaslight investigators. This investigation is being led by our Edmonton Drug and Gang Enforcement sections, but it has brought police officers together throughout the service across the country as well as internationally. At the EPS, we have dedicated a tremendous amount of resources to this case. It has been all hands on deck. I can't say enough to this team of investigators who continue to work tirelessly on this file. The sheer volume of evidence and information they have reviewed to get to this point is simply staggering. And the fact that we are here today to talk about 7 accused and 54 charges only months into such a complex investigation is a very encouraging sign. This involved enormous cooperation from across EPS as well as other jurisdictions. Because while extortion events in other parts of Canada are not directly connected to our criminal group, our investigators have been in ongoing communication with police in BC, Ontario, nationally through the RCMP National Coordination and Support Team. And speaking of the team, we are joined today by Superintendent Adam McIntosh from the RCMP National Coordination and Support Team leader, who I'd like to invite up to the podium to say a few words, and when it's all done, we'll be able to answer some questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief McPhee. Hello and bonjour. I want to take a minute and acknowledge the significant work that has been done by the Edmonton Police Service to advance Project Gaslight. Their efforts are a great example of the incredible work being done here in Edmonton and in a number of other cities to address a series of extortions that have targeted South Asian individuals and businesses. I'm the officer in charge for the RCMP National Coordination and Support Team, and it was created as a nationwide alliance of various police departments from here in Alberta, British Columbia, and Ontario that have all been dealing with similar types of targeted violence and extortions. Our mandate was and is simple: help coordinate and support. And we have done just that. Whether it is with additional police or civilian resources, specialized services, intelligence sharing, or liaising with other national and international police agencies. Federal policing has the network, capabilities, and reach to support. It must be noted that the various police services, such as our colleagues here with the Edmonton Police Service, were already well positioned to succeed and have made significant progress. Our focus will be to continue to monitor and support various police investigations, capture best service practices, overcome any challenges, and also build on our collective efforts to identify, arrest, and deter those individuals and criminal organizations targeting our communities in Canada. I will turn it over now to Acting Inspector Dave Patton of the Edmonton Police Service Organized Crime Branch to provide a more detailed layout of their complex investigation.
Thank you, Chief McPhee. Thank you, Superintendent McIntosh. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending today. I've spoken to you on several occasions about Project Gaslight, the EPS investigation into the extortion scheme targeting South Asian business owners in the Edmonton area. Since last October, we've been investigating 40 occurrences of arsons, firearms offenses, and extortions believed to be linked to the same criminal network. While we have made significant progress and laid charges in 26 of the 40 incidents reported to us, we know that we still have a lot of work to do. Yesterday, on Thursday, July 25th, EPS and RCMP officers executed search warrants at 6 locations in southeast Edmonton and arrested and charged 6 people. Those arrested ranged in age from 17 to 21 and were part of a structured group with a defined hierarchy and roles. These individuals prepared for their crimes by researching their victims before allegedly committing the extortions, arsons, and shootings they are accused of. They were also allegedly being paid to conduct these crimes. We have also issued Canada-wide warrants for 34-year-old Maninder Dhaliwal, who is believed to be the leader of the group, and he's the individual pictured to my right. Between the 7 of them, the accused are facing a total of 54 charges. Investigators believe Dhaliwal has been orchestrating the extortions from overseas, and the EPS is working with our federal and international counterparts, including the Drug Enforcement Administration, to locate him. Our investigation has not been limited by boundaries or borders, and we are grateful for the local RCMP assistance, the assistance of the RCMP National Coordination and Support Team, and the DEA's involvement. We appreciate them coming to Edmonton to support us in this investigation. Although we've had great progress with the arrests from yesterday, as you know, we were alerted to an early morning apartment fire in the Kavanaugh neighborhood, which we now believe is connected to this extortion series. While our investigation is still fresh in its early stages, there isn't much detail I can provide beyond the fact that we are investigating it at this time. We appreciate our community and local media who have been engaged throughout this investigation, and we'd like to take this opportunity to appeal to them one last time. If you have information about the whereabouts of Maninder Dhaliwal, please contact us. Or you can contact Crime Stoppers and report that information anonymously. Further, I want to thank our community for their cooperation so far and ask them to continue to report these extortions. We are aware that there are others who have been subjected to these extortions, and we would like you to come forward. If you paid money to this group and haven't yet contacted police, come forward. Tracking these financial transactions will assist our investigation greatly. If you have already contacted police, please stay engaged with our investigative team. And to the South Asian parents who have young adults at home, talk to them about what is happening in this city. We know the criminal network run by Dhaliwal is recruiting young adults who may be influenced to commit crime for financial incentives. While this group's activities have slowed considerably since our town hall in February, our investigators haven't. They have been working tirelessly to bring this file to where it is today, and we will continue to build our case against the suspects. We believe that the individuals identified today represent the core members of this criminal network. However, there is a strong likelihood that more people will be charged as this investigation continues. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. We'll move into questions and answers. If you could use the microphone in the back, that would be great. And just let us know who your questions are directed at.
Adam Zaccarelli with City News. This is for Acting Inspector Patton. Do we know if that fire last night was associated with these events? And then can you talk more on the group? You highlighted that they are part of an organized group. What's the motive? Is it just financial gain, or is there something bigger at work here?
Yeah, so with respect to the fire, it is our belief that it is related to this series. As for the motive to the overall series, it is financial.
Eric Bay, Global News. This will also be for the acting inspector, I believe. With the 6 people who were arrested, do we know whether or not they were here on student visas?
So I'm not aware of the student visa situation, but I'm aware that I believe 2 of them were permanent residents. One of them was a permanent resident. I believe 2 of them were Indian nationals, and the remainder are Canadian citizens.
And in respect to Dollywall, do you know, is he still overseas?
His whereabouts are uncertain.
Nav Sangha, CTV News Edmonton. You mentioned in the press release that he's changed his appearance. Is that plastic surgery, and how difficult is that going to make it to locate him?
It's uncertain as to exactly what has been done to alter his appearance. But I can say that we are working with as far as locating his whereabouts, we're working with our both national and international counterparts to locate his whereabouts.
I'm not sure what the number was last time. Was it 32 incidents or 36 before the 40? Do you remember?
I think at the time, the last time we met, I think we were quoting approximately 34. So we've had obviously some additional extortions that have been made in the recent weeks, as well as our belief in that arson last night or in the early morning of hours of today was related. But then also we've, just through some revision of the files that we've had and the work our investigative team has done, we were able to uncover additional events that, through similar fact evidence, we believe are also related to this series.
The additional 6, were they all arsons or were they shootings?
I'm sorry, I don't have the breakdown. I don't believe any of them were shootings.
Well, there was a little bit of a break. Now it seems like it's starting up again. How concerning is that for police?
Yeah, it's absolutely very concerning. It's our belief at this time that, again, this person is actively recruiting people. Again, that's the reason why we're making the statement to know what your kids are up to. I'd also like to say, just, with respect to those individuals that are being recruited, it's important for them to know that they're patsies. They're patsies for this individual, and make no mistake, this person will abandon them when the time comes.
Adam Zuccarelli with City News again. The fire that happened last night, because it happened last night, how certain are you that, or how do we know that it was a part of these arsons if it just happened last night?
So that work is being done, but we have been in communication with the business owner.
And then this one will either go to the police chief or the superintendent. Working with other networks in other cities, I'm assuming there was some collaboration. Were these individuals arrested involved in those arsons as well, or is this specific to Edmonton?
So what I can say with respect to other investigations such as occurring in British Columbia and Ontario, we're actively working with those police of jurisdiction. Some are RCMP, Peel, for example, Peel Regional Police Service. Their involvement as it relates to these investigations or others continues, and I anticipate that those investigations may result in charges somewhere down the line. Our role continues to assist with all police related to making connections both within Canada, nationally and internationally. So there is crossover. How that looks and continues as a part of the investigation.
Just to add to Adam's point there is, I think we've talked about this about 3 times. I know DC LaForce, Inspector Payton has talked about it, including myself. We're going to find them. The reality is you can't hide. I mean, we've got police right across internationally, nationally, and certainly locally, and we're all interconnected. And I think the big message here today that, as Inspector Payton has said to you, is we got to stop them from recruiting our youth because it's destroying our community. And the focus out today is, you're signing up for something that, it's a check that'll never be cashed because it's going to interfere with your life and it's going to obviously jeopardize your future. So our message is this has to stop. And as you can see, it doesn't matter if he changes his appearance, we'll find him and he'll be held accountable.
Gusharan from My Radio. Earlier, there was only focus was on builders and developers. So with the time, have they included any other businesses other than builders?
Sorry, I didn't quite hear your question, but I believe you were asking if there's other industries that are being targeted.
Yes, yes.
You know, I know the problems that were caused to the home builders and that industry here in the city. So I can say that in one of the more recent extortions, it's not related to a home builder, but I really don't want to identify the industry.
With the ongoing relationship with India, are we getting cooperation from Indian forces?
So when we start to talk about international relations, that's something that would be best served by Global Affairs Canada and the federal government as it relates to the current relationship with the government of India. What I can say from a national perspective, a federal policing perspective, we've always continued to work with the government of India as it relates to investigations that have an international component, and that continues to this day.
Can we maybe share a little bit more information about the arrests that were made yesterday? Was everybody arrested without incident?
Yeah, I think with regards to the operation that was undertaken yesterday, so we actually had 3 tactical teams involved, so 2 of our EPS tactical teams and 1 RCMP ERT team. We also had a team of investigators from the RCMP execute a search at one of those locations. And then we had 4 of our organized crime branch teams that were involved, and then 1 of our special projects teams involved. And so we had created interview teams, search teams, and arrest teams for that operation yesterday. There was, I think, at the top, there was probably somewhere around 100 officers involved, if not more.
Can you share a little bit more about the recruitment tactics? People were arrested yesterday, but then there's another arson this morning. How is this individual recruiting these people?
So we don't have a whole lot of clarity as to the recruitment and how that's being undertaken. Again, it is our belief that this group has a hierarchy. That recruitment could come in the form of messages passed down to people who are in our midst in this city, and then it's their responsibility to then go out and try to recruit them. It is our belief that that recruitment comes along with the idea that they will have financial gain were they to participate in these activities.
Stephen Cook, CBC News. You know, previously we've heard that the investigation believed this was being orchestrated from India. I know you've said Maninder Dhaliwal, whereabouts unknown. Do we know if it has been orchestrated completely from India, or has Maninder Dhaliwal been in Canada?
I can say that at times, for sure, that these activities were being orchestrated from India. As to the totality of the events, I'm not able to provide that information.
Okay. And my understanding is there were 6 arrests previously around April. So we have about 6 more arrests, so 12 total at the moment. That math may be wrong, but I mean, is there any indication of the size of this organization, and is it with the recruitment sort of constantly growing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, and again, it just speaks to the importance that we're trying to provide to the community, that they need to speak to their family members. I believe at one point we've had over 20 targets that we were looking at, 20 individuals that we were looking at that we believe that they were participating in these events.
Any of the recent people charged with the crime are repeat offenders or all freshies?
So there were some individuals that have been charged previous, and they have been picked up along with the operation yesterday.
Adam Zagrelli with City News again. Maninder Dhaliwal, do we know if he's dangerous? There's a Canada-wide warrant out for his arrest. If people do recognize him or people do see him, this is more for the public. What do they need to know about this individual? Is he armed? Is he dangerous? Do not approach, and all the extra stuff involved.
Yeah, so great question. Obviously, if they locate this person or identify him or believe someone matching his description is kind of in their midst, definitely call the police. We do have the Canada-wide warrants out for him, so wherever he may touch down across this country, we're hoping that he can be apprehended.
Does Maninder have any ties to any gangs at all?
So it is our belief that Maninder Dhaliwal is affiliated with the Brothers Keeper organized crime group out of the Lower Mainland. However, as far as our investigative team goes, we refer to this group as the Dhaliwal Crime Group.
Does that impact the investigation at all? Like, will you be investigating in BC? Are you working with Lower Mainland RCMP?
No, we have no information to suggest that that this group is actively working outside of the kind of the Edmonton region boundaries. So right now, we're just focusing our efforts here in Edmonton.
Do you have a middle name for Dhaliwal?
We can get that to you.
Lauren Boothby, Edmonton Journal. If you can't speak specifically about how this group is like recruiting, can you talk about how it looks like some other organized crime groups and how these kind of organizations work, maybe compared to this one?
Well, I guess it would depend on what their what their activities are. So, I mean, in this case, it's extortions, and others, it's different types of commodities. Whether that commodity is drugs, cigarettes, and so all of them have, I guess, shapes and sizes that seem to align with the activities that they're conducting.
Sorry, I meant more like in the terms of recruiting. Okay.
Sorry, I'd like to add a piece there with respect to that. So I think if you look at any traditional organized crime, street level drugs, they all kind of work under the same modus operandi or MO with respect to the fact that they take advantage of vulnerable people who may need money, may find themselves in some sort of predicament, and they cultivate a relationship with that person and engage them involved into some level of crime. So it's very traditional in that sense. It's not separate to the South Asian community who are involved in these extortions. And it's a big component, to go back to what the chief said, and is that we need to be raising awareness in twofold areas. One is with respect to supporting the community members who may become victim of extortions, who may be the ones that are receiving threats, and how to address that, such as contact your police, get involved early, and the others around recruitment and trying to stop people. So to reiterate what was already said, whether you're here in Edmonton or across the country, is talk to your kids, talk to your families, communicate, and raise awareness around how they try to recruit people.
If you said he's with the Brothers Keepers, is he, or do we think it's Brothers Keepers is like leading this across Canada, or is he kind of broken off from them, came here, and it's completely unrelated? He just used to be associated with them.
So I think when we start talking about organized crime groups, I think it was quite clear that the information, to reiterate, is supported that this is the Dhaliwal crime group specific to Edmonton. But a lot of these organized crime groups are connecting with each other across the country internationally. And so it's very difficult to say specifically how one is interacting with the other. That's a part of the investigation. And the good part that's occurring here is that collaboration, whether it's through us, part of the NCST, or whether it's Edmonton talking to CFSEU in the Lower Mainland or in Peel or whatever. All those are occurring. We continue to interact with each other, communicate intelligence, and work to dismantle these organized crime groups and prevent crime.
Good morning. A question for Acting Inspector Payton, Sean Butts, Edmonton Journal. Just a question about Mr. Dhaliwal. Does he have ties to Edmonton? Is he from Edmonton? It seems that he was able to target specific people in specific industries. He seemed to know the players. Does he have people working on the ground doing that, or is he from here?
Yes, he has ties to the city and is from Edmonton.
I just want to clarify because, in April we had 34 incidents, now we have 40. There was a break, it seemed, between January and April, no new incidents. You said you've gone back and reassessed certain things. Just since that April update, like how many of those incidents have occurred since?
So you're right. So actually, since I believe it was January 29th, we had not had any occurrences. And it's only recently that they've kind of seemed to spark up again. The ones that we're referring to, those additional occurrences, those were kind of uncovered through the overall investigation, events that were related but maybe not captured at the time.
Can you throw a number on that since that?
Yeah, I would have to kind of sit down with our team to kind of get you the exact number.
Oh, no, of course. I had one more thing. Just in the April update, there was an Arjun Sanan who was charged in relation to 3 drive-by events with this investigation. It was believed he had fled to India. Is there any update on his status?
We have no update on his status at this time.
Question for Chief McKee. So this investigation is obviously involving a lot of officers. It's been going on for months. They're not stopping. Just your general thoughts on how these people continue to do this?
Well, I mean, it's now time for our justice system to hold them accountable in every way we can. Obviously, part of that is justice system, could be incarceration, could be everything at our disposal, whether actually, we look at things like deportation, if that's applicable or whatever. So I think right now our investigators right across the country and internationally have done a great job of gathering the evidence to get us to today. I think now it's that working relationship with the justice system to ensuring that these folks aren't going to do this again. That's the start, but I think the other piece has been articulated here 3 or 4 times is that message needs to be sent to others that don't get involved in this stuff. It makes no sense. It doesn't pay. When they probably started out, they probably thought this was a low level and that they weren't going to be caught or held accountable. And now that you've got a whole bunch of lives that are changed, and they're changed for a long time now. So, the message is we're going to find you, we're going to hold you accountable, and if this is what you choose to do, it's not going to end well for you. So, and just I think the other piece to this now is to find the main person responsible and actually hold him accountable, and obviously everything that we have at our disposal within the justice system to ensure that this person isn't doing this, because it's not just the individuals or the people that are affected by a fire or an extortion, but it scares a whole community because you just don't know where they are, and it's time for that to stop. And, I think we're serving notice here today. We're coming.
And I know last time, no one has come forward saying that they've paid the extortion money. Has that changed at all?
Yeah, so I know I've stated throughout these media events that we had no information to suggest that any of our complainants had paid. I can tell you that at this time in the investigation, we are aware that some of our complainants have paid money.
Do you know how much?
I don't have the exact numbers, no.
Ask a couple questions there.
How long has this warrant been in place? Is it just starting today? And has he traveled back to Canada since the warrant was basically put in place?
Yeah, so the warrant was put on the system yesterday in conjunction with all of the arrests that took place. As far as his travels back to this country, to our knowledge, he has not come back to this country. I don't know what the passport systems are like in other countries. Is there a possibility that he may have access to a fictional passport? Those are things that we're looking at.
Inspector, I know you said the youths who had sort of been recruited into this were patsies. The question is, are they being promised money and then not paid? Or are they being promised money and paid a little? Are they completely being left out to dry here?
Yeah, I mean, no doubt, this is a fool's errand. We've information on our investigation to strongly suggest that, they have been paid, but they've also, again, been abandoned. So I want them, my message to them is to be aware of that. This guy will not be there for you in the totality of the circumstances that they'll face once they are brought to justice.
Thank you, everyone.